Hello and good afternoon or good evening whenever you are watching this. I hope this video is here for you to help on your homework of 6-1, part 1 of multiplying fractions by a whole number, and 6.2, part 2 of multiplying a fraction by a whole number. Before we begin, I got to give a mad shout out to Kenold. Kenold, I hope you are watching this. Hope you're going to learn tons and tons from this video, and I can't wait to hear all about it. All right, so what we have today, we are going to be multiplying a fraction by a whole number. In part 1, we are going to be looking at an array, okay? And so we're using this multiplication problem here, which is actually number 1, I believe, on your homework. Make sure. Nope, number 2 of your homework, okay? All right, so there's a couple parts that I want you guys to follow along with me. First thing I want to do is I want to look at our denominator. Our denominator is 7, and so really what that means is I need 7 equal groups. Denominator always tells us how many equal groups we have in a whole. So I need 7 equal groups. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? The next part that I want us to draw attention to is right here, number 14. I need 14 of those dots to model this problem. So I'm going to repeat those 7 because remember, I need 7 equal groups. And I'm going to repeat those 7 until I put all 14 dots down. There's my 14 dots. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to look at this numerator. The numerator tells us how many of those equal groups we actually care about. We care about 4 for this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box around 4 of these groups. Okay? And so therefore, what I have is in my box that I just circled, I have, make sure my answer is nice and clear, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4/7 of 14 is 8. Okay? I'll do another example. Maybe not from your homework because I don't want to give you too many free answers. But if I had a problem that looked like this, 2/3 times 9. Okay? Denominator tells us how many dots to put down. 1, 2, 3. I repeat that pattern because remember, equal groups. I want to keep those equal groups until I put all 9 dots down. So there's 6. I need to keep it going. And there's 9. There's my 9 dots in rows or groups of 3. Numerator tells us how many of those groups we actually care about. So we care about these 2 groups. Inside of that circle we have, let's make sure that looks right, we have 6 dots. So 2/3 times 9 equals 6. Hopefully that helps with part 1. All of the problems are just like that. I know you have 2 word problems at the bottom, but truly what it is just multiplying a fraction by a whole number, and they're going to want you to show your work using those arrays. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to part 2 of this homework, which is what we did today in class. We are using models now, different style of models, not an array, but we're going to be using models. Okay, so this is because not all problems will be able to be used using an array. Certain problems cannot. We talked about that in class as well. If the denominator is not a divisor or a factor of the number you're multiplying by, you cannot use an array, which makes it a little bit more difficult. And so this is why we have introduced a new model based off of what's going on in our books. All right, so this one's a little bit different. Let's make sure we're following along, paying attention to where I get each of my numbers. All right, so I have 1/12 times 4. The first thing I want to do is look at my whole number. My whole number in this problem is 4. So what I need to do is I need to draw 4 holes. And I'm going to use rectangles to represent my holes. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. That represents my 4 holes right here. Next thing I want to do is look at my denominator. My denominator says 12, so I need to show 12 equal parts between all 4 of my holes. So then therefore I need to think, If I have 4 holes and I need to make 12 parts, 4 times what equals 12? Well, 4 times 3 equals 12, meaning I need to cut each one of these holes into 3 equal spots or using 2 lines. So there's 3, 6 pieces, 9 pieces, and finally 12 pieces. So the 12 comes from making 12 pieces out of my 4 holes. Now what we could do is we could say, well, each one of these pieces must represent 1/3. Remember, denominator is how many equal pieces we have in one hole. So if this is our one hole right here, I have 3 equal spots, so that's our denominator, and I only am looking at one of those. So each piece is made from 1/3. Well, I need to look at one of those pieces, so let's go ahead and shade in one of those pieces. Here's one of those pieces. So what I have is 1/12 times 4 is what I just shaded in. So let me move all of this over a little bit. Get that off to the side so I could have some room to write. So 1/4 times 4, 1/12 times 4 is this one little sliver. So I have one shaded, and it's out of 3 pieces. 1/12 times 4 is equal to 1/3. And it shows it just by looking at that one shaded piece out of the 3 pieces altogether. So just because this is brand new, I will do another example with you guys. And so I have this problem here, 9/10 times 5, which I think is number 2 in your homework books. Yep. And so I'm going to go ahead and model this one just like how I did before. This time I have 5 holes, so that means I need 5 holes. Okay. I need 10 equal spots between all 5 of these. So again, I'm thinking 5 times what equals 10? 5 times 2 equals 10. So I'm going to take each one of these, I'm going to cut them in half. There's 2 pieces, 4 pieces, 6 pieces, 8 pieces, 10 pieces. So again, this 10 comes from making 10 equal spots in my holes. Well, the numerator for this one is showing I need to shade in 9 of these pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So what I did is I shaded in 9 of the 10 pieces. And so each one of these pieces is now worth, let me go with different colors so it stands out a little bit better. It represents 1/2. Each one of these is worth 1/2. So I could think, all right, I have 1 hole, 2 holes, 3, 4 holes shaded. And then I have some more, but it's not another hole, it's actually 1 out of the 2 pieces, so 1/2 more. So 9/10 times 5 is equal to 4 1/2. As always, guys, if there's any questions, concerns, or anything like that, please reach out, let me know. I will help you out when I return and when we get back together. Have a great night, everybody. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this makes a little bit more sense now that you see it like this. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.